Hi, I'm Zach from Zach and Grace. Welcome to part 5 of the Posing Masterclass for Editorial Wedding Photographers. In this video, we'll be sharing our favourite poses that help us capture magazine-worthy portraits on every wedding. Once we've got our couple feeling comfortable and got some chic portraits in the bag with that first pose, remember this one? Super simple, super relaxed, but allows us to work around our couple, build up a little story, capture the details. But ultimately, it's a pose that works for every couple and they will feel comfortable, natural, and relaxed in. The poses we choose to move on to next are always then going to vary depending on the couple. But here's some of our favourites. Something a little further apart. So very similar to that first pose, but we'll literally get our couple to take a step apart from each other. We'll get them to hold hands, we'll get them to look at each other, and we'll work around this pose in a similar way that we did with that first pose. This is a great simple pose to move into next if you feel like you want a few more images in that same scene, or if you're moving to a different scene, a different location, it's a very natural pose to get your couple back into. You can play around with it. If your couple's a bit more playful, they'll naturally play around with it. They've got that option there to really be themselves in that moment. So we could do something a little romantic, where we have our bride just in front of our groom, or one of your couple in front of the other. Looking back at each other, super simple. This works really well if there's a bigger height difference. So looking here. So often if you have your couple too close together and there's a big height difference, one of them's looking up, one of them's looking right the way down. This pose actually makes it a little more natural feeling to be close and not kind of be cranking their necks back quite so much. So something leaning. This is another good one for height differences. Whichever way around that works is you can get one of your couple simply leaning against something. Very cool, very chic. And then have the other just tuck in. This is a really nice, intimate pose, but it doesn't feel super staged. It still feels natural. Allows your couple to be close, but it also allows them to pull apart a bit. Really nice, great examples of this. This is a couple who had a really big height difference, really noticeable, and when they were super close together, made it quite awkward to shoot. However, we got the groom here leaning on the car. It was their car, don't worry, or it was their wedding car. It's not just a random car, but that brought him down so he was at a nice level with his bride. A really nice way to tackle height differences. So something on the stairs. This is something else that we love to do with our couples. Often there'll be a staircase in a venue that obviously is a centerpiece. It's a focal point to them. Maybe like here, they've even had their florist dress that staircase. So you want to make the most of it. Staircases, often in dark hallways, so common, so can be really nice to shoot those with flash. Maybe a little bit later in the night, but maybe just during the day. This is another example of a gorgeous staircase in London. And what this allowed us to show was show off that bow detail on the back of the dress. When our bride here was stood, it wasn't that, impressive as such. It didn't show it off that well, even if you drew it away. But being on the stairs, it really gave that length, gave that height to it, looked fantastic. Here, the staircase had a window, so we found a little pocket of light and worked with that. Could be something with a car. If you've got a car, playing around with a car for some really natural, really chic couples portraits, fantastic idea. Again, some classic leaning shots here, maybe a little more posed, but still super relaxed. But also just playing around with those natural moments, getting out of the car, things like that, just like sitting, anything, just playing around it and finding different compositions that you can do, incorporating the car, tying in that extra detail. Another great example here, doing the classic car shot, showing off the car. They've got that car, it's nice. But also capturing those in-between moments, getting out of the car, little sort of chic little moments like that. So something with flash. And this is always a fun thing that we'll usually do at the end of the night like we talked about earlier. And when we're working with flash, we won't necessarily do really strong poses, but we'll just get our couple to play around, get some walking, maybe have a cheers, something like that. Just play around with it, something a bit more playful. Another example here, those with a keen eye will see that this is the same staircase as the previous shots. in London at the Landmark Hotel. Just a little more playful with Flash, really, really fun. You can see how we've used the same space, but we've used it in a completely different way, and it's given a completely different vibe with that Flash. Finally, our biggest tip that we have for wedding photographers is this. If in doubt, get your couple walking. It sounds silly, but walking is our secret weapon. If a couple is struggling to settle into the moment, we get them walking and looking at each other. If we feel like a pose isn't working and we need a few more seconds to think, we get our couple walking. If we want a little movement in the shot, you guessed it, we get our couple walking. Some of our favorite photos in our portfolio are walking shots, and it's saved us with so many awkward or uncomfortable couples who just can't relax in front of the camera. Getting your couple walking takes them out of that moment where they're being photographed and allows them to be a little more in the present with each other, focusing on something else. And often that's a quick fix for getting shots that are more relaxed, more natural. So there we have it, the approach we take to getting gorgeous, natural couples portraits, magazine-worthy portraits on all of our weddings. It's all about prioritizing how your couple feels. Remember, it's them who we're ultimately creating these images for, not us. If you take on board everything we've talked about today, you will not only get better results from your weddings, but you'll also feel more confident and more at ease directing your couples. Lay the groundwork of comfort ahead of the wedding day to make the whole process so much easier. And then put the time into scouting your locations, figuring out those routes, getting really confident in where you're leading your couples. Spread the portrait session out across the day and give yourself the time to strategize if things are tough and your couple are feeling uncomfortable on that first shoot, but also get creative if things have gone really well so far and you know you've got great shots in the bag already. Kickstart the session with a pose that you know works for all of your couples. Build their confidence up and build your confidence up before you start moving to any other poses, anything more complicated. Create the right vibe and your couple will help you find the poses that work for them. If something isn't working, don't panic. Just remember, get them walking. Buy yourself some time, get some relaxed shots, think about what you need to do next, and then you can move on. Thanks for watching this masterclass series for editorial wedding photographers, and we look forward to seeing you soon. But before you go, I just want to ask one thing. If you enjoyed this training series, hop onto Instagram, follow us if you don't follow us already. You can find us at zachandgrace.co, but send us a DM and let us know what your favorite tip from this training series was. We'd love to hear from you, and it really helps us to get feedback and improve our courses, masterclasses and trainings in the future and personalize them more for our students. So if you can take that 2 minutes out of your day, we'd really, really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you in the next training series. If you have any questions at all, you can contact us on Instagram at zachandgrace.co, or you can send us an email at hello@zachandgrace.co. Thanks so much and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.